The noise came again. Rah! Rah! Mum Ifeoma hissed loudly from her kitchen. She wiped her hands on her wrapper and stormed out into her compound. She didn't need anyone to tell her. It was that her neighbour again. Madam Bridget and her noisy generator. As usual, she no day ever rest. Mama Ifeoma shouted, standing close to the short fence that separated their compounds. Madam Bridget, must you on this generator by 6 a.m? People they sleep oh. On the other side of the fence, a slim woman in a flowery dress came out, frowning. Her hairnet was still on her head and she held a small cup of tea. Ah, is it your generator? Madam Bridget snapped. Did I on it in your bedroom? You're disturbing the whole street. Every morning, same noise. You no day pity person. Madam Bridget raised her hand and sipped her tea. When Neighbour gives you light, you can off yours. But as for me and my house, we will use generator. Mama Ifeoma shook her head and walked back inside, boiling with anger. This had been going on for months. If it wasn't generator noise, it was water pump arguments, parking space drama, or loud quarrels over electricity bills. Their children avoided each other. Their husbands barely greeted. Even their dogs barked across the fence as if they too were part of the war. But that morning something strange happened. As Mama Ifeoma walked back into her sitting room, she saw a small strange envelope lying on her doormat. She picked it up. There was no name, just one word written with red marker, beware. She blinked. Who could have dropped it, and what did it mean? She glanced toward Madam Bridget's side. Could it be her, or was something darker going on? Mama Ifeoma sat in her parlour, turning the strange envelope over and over in her hand. Her heart was beating fast. Who would send me a letter like this, and why beware? She tore it open carefully. Inside was a single sheet of paper, no signature, just a short message written in the same red marker. Someone close to you is not who they pretend to be. She gasped and looked around her quiet sitting room as if the walls could speak. Her husband had already left for work. Her daughter Ifeoma was still asleep in her room. Everything looked normal, but the words on that paper refused to leave her mind. She opened her curtain and peeked outside. Madam Bridget was still in her compound, now watering her flowers and humming a gospel song loudly, as if she hadn't just been shouting an hour ago. Mama Ifeoma hissed. Hypocrite. Then her eyes narrowed. Could it be her? Could Madam Bridget be hiding something? Later that afternoon, Mama Ifeoma decided to do something she had never done before. She went outside, crossed the short fence and knocked on Madam Bridget's door. When Madam Bridget opened the door, she looked shocked. You? Here? She asked, folding her arms. I came to talk, Mama Ifeoma said with a fake smile. Let's put our differences aside. Madam Bridget blinked. You want peace? Yes. Why now? I'm tired of fighting. The two women sat in her parlour, sipping malt. The silence was heavy. Then Mama Ifeoma dropped the envelope on the table. Did you drop this in front of my door? Madam Bridget picked it up and read it. Her face changed. Her hands trembled slightly. No, she said, voice low, but I got the same thing yesterday. Mama Ifeoma sat up straight. You too? Madam Bridget nodded slowly. Same red writing. No name. The two women stared at each other in confusion and fear. Someone was watching them. Someone who knew something. And that person was playing a dangerous game. Missing goat. The next morning brought more confusion. A loud cry echoed through the compound. It was Madam Bridget. My goat! My goat! Who stole my goat? Mama Ifeoma rushed out, tying her wrapper properly. What is it again this morning? My brown goat. The one I bought for Easter. It's gone. The rope was cut. Madam Bridget cried, pointing at the small wooden post behind her house. Mama Ifeoma looked at the cut rope on the ground. The place looked like someone had struggled with the goat in the night. Ah, are you sure it didn't break loose and run away? Run to where? I tied it well. Somebody entered my compound last night. A thief. Mama Ifeoma's heart skipped. Was it connected to the strange letters? I didn't hear anything, she said, looking around. But are you sure you locked your gate? Madam Bridget hissed and pointed at her padlock. The lock is still there, but it was not tight. Someone opened it quietly. By now, other neighbours were gathering. Mr. Ade from the next house, Mama Dharmann, the gate man, even small children came to look. They all talked at the same time. Then something shocking happened. One of the small boys shouted, Auntie Bridget, see your goat leg. Everyone turned. The boy pointed toward the back fence near Mama Ifeoma's side. A trail of dried blood and broken sticks led into the bush beside her backyard. "What?" Madam Bridget screamed. All eyes turned to Mama Ifeoma. "Ha! Wait-o!" Mama Ifeoma said, raising her hands. "You people should not look at me like that. Oh, I didn't touch any goat." Madam Bridget stepped closer. "So how did my goat blood reach your side?" Mama Ifeoma felt weak. "Maybe the thief passed through here. I don't even eat goat meat." Just then, Mr. Addy picked something from the grass. It was a torn piece of white cloth. "Whose wrapper is this?" he asked, raising it. Mama Ifeoma's eyes widened. It looked exactly like the wrapper she had washed and left on the line overnight. Was someone trying to frame her? That night, Mama Ifeoma could not sleep. She kept turning on her bed, her mind racing. Who is doing all this? And why would they try to set me up for stealing a goat? The torn piece of wrapper still bothered her. It was hers, no doubt about it. But how did it end up in the bush, near the blood trail? She hadn't even been outside that night. She sat up suddenly. What if someone had entered her compound in the middle of the night? Quietly, she stood up, tiptoed to the back door and peeped through the curtain. The moonlight was bright. Everything looked calm. She sat on the floor near the door and decided to keep watch. She couldn't afford another surprise. At about 1:32 a.m., she heard a sound. Clink! Clink! She froze. Then, thump! Her heart pounded. Slowly, she shifted the curtain again. Someone was in the compound. A shadow moved silently near her backyard. She held her breath. The person was slim and wearing black. They crouched near her fence, then quickly disappeared behind the mango tree. Mama Ifeoma's eyes widened. She waited for a few more minutes, then quietly opened her door and tipped it outside. She followed the shadow's path. Her heart was racing. Behind the mango tree, she found something shocking, a small black nylon bag. She picked it up and carried it back inside. When she opened it, her mouth fell open. Inside were her missing wrapper, the rest of the goat's leg, and a phone. A small technophone with a cracked screen. She stared at it in disbelief. Who would drop something like this? She pressed the power button. It came on. The wallpaper was a picture of someone she never expected, Madam Bridget, with a strange man. Both of them were standing beside the same brown goat, but the man wasn't her husband. Mama Ifeoma's mouth opened in shock. Who was this man? And why were they hiding their connection? Mama Ifeoma stared at the phone screen like it was on fire. Why would Madam Bridget be posing with another man and the goat? Who is he? She tapped on the photo gallery. There were more pictures. Some of them showed the same man handing over cash to Madam Bridget. Others showed them walking together at night. One even showed them beside a white van with the back doors open and what looked like cages inside. Her body grew cold. Is Madam Bridget selling animals or something worse? The most chilling part was that the phone's last video was recorded just 2 nights ago. With shaky hands, Mama Ifeoma pressed play. The screen showed the compound at night. It was dark, but the camera picked up voices. "I told you to wait till after Easter," Madam Bridget's voice hissed. "I couldn't," the man replied. "The buyer came early. If you delay again, I'll go to the next person." "Fine. Take the goat. But this is the last one. After this, we stop." "You say that every time." The video ended. Mama Ifeoma blinked. What? So Madam Bridget was lying about the goat being stolen? She had actually arranged for it to be taken? Just then, her daughter Ifeoma entered the room, rubbing her eyes. "Mummy, you're not sleeping?" Mama Ifeoma quickly locked the phone and smiled. "I'm coming, dear. Go back to bed." When her daughter left, she hid the bag under the cushion, but her mind was not at rest. Should she confront Madam Bridget or call the police? She decided to wait and watch. The next morning, she went outside like nothing happened. She even greeted Madam Bridget warmly. "Good morning, neighbour." Madam Bridget blinked in surprise. "Good morning." But as she smiled, her eyes darted to the fence, then to the mango tree. Her face stiffened. She knew something. She suspected something, and Mama Ifeoma could tell they were now playing a dangerous game, a silent war. One of them would strike next. But who? Mama Ifeoma spent the whole day watching Madam Bridget from her window. She noticed something strange. Madam Bridget kept going to the back of her compound, looking around like she was searching for something. She's looking for the phone, Mama Ifeoma thought. She knows it's gone. Later that evening, just as the sun was going down, Madam Bridget came to her door and knocked. Knock, knock. Mama Ifeoma paused, then slowly opened the door. "My sister," Madam Bridget said with a forced smile. "Can I borrow your big pot? I want to cook bitter leaf soup." Mama Ifeoma smiled back. "Of course. Come in." As Madam Bridget stepped into her parlour, her eyes darted around quickly, like she was searching for something. Mama Ifeoma handed her the pot, but her heart was racing. "She's trying to check if I found the bag." The moment she left, Mama Ifeoma picked up the phone and locked it in her husband's old metal box. "Let her search the whole house. She won't find it." The next day, things took a shocking turn. Just after noon, 2 policemen walked into the compound. Everyone came outside. They walked straight to Mama Ifeoma's door. "Are you Mrs. Ifeoma Eze?" one of them asked. "Yes," she replied, confused. "You're under investigation for animal theft and illegal possession of slaughtered meat." "What? God forbid!" she shouted. "Who reported me?" They didn't answer. They just handed her a paper. At the bottom, the signature read, "Bridget U. Ocon." Mama Ifeoma's eyes widened. She turned slowly toward the fence. Madam Bridget was standing on her side, arms folded, smiling like a cat that just licked milk. It was clear now. She was trying to destroy her. But why? And how far was she willing to go? One thing was sure. Mama Ifeoma wouldn't go down without a fight. She had proof, and she was ready to use it. Mama Ifeoma stood in her parlour, her body shaking. The police officers were still outside, questioning her husband. Her daughter sat on the sofa, crying softly. "I didn't do anything," she thought angrily. "That wicked woman wants to disgrace me." She waited until the police were gone, promising to return the next day, before she acted. She locked the door, opened the old metal box, and brought out the phone again. This time, she didn't stop at the pictures. She went through the messages. There were text messages between Madam Bridget and a man saved as chief supplier. Chief supplier. "Did you tie the goat?" "Yes." "Enter through the back like last time." "Hope your neighbour didn't see anything?" "That one is blind in the night. She won't know." Mama Ifeoma shook her head in disbelief. "So it was never an accident. She planned everything, even this setup." She copied the photos, messages and video onto her daughter's school tablet and made 3 copies on flash drives. That night, she went to visit Mr. A, their trusted neighbour. She told him everything. Mr. A was shocked. So all these dramas were because she was trying to cover her own mess? "Yes," Mama Ifeoma replied. "Now she's trying to use the police to silence me." Mr. Ade rubbed his chin. "We'll handle it. Give me one of the flash drives." He called 2 other neighbours who had once been close to Madam Bridget. Together, they made a plan. The next morning, the whole compound gathered. Mr. Ade set up a small speaker and began to play the audio from the video. Madam Bridget came outside, confused. Then she froze when she heard her voice over the speaker. "I told you to wait till after Easter." The buyer came early. People gasped. Then the pictures appeared, on a small projector connected to the tablet. Every single image, the strange man, the money, the goat. Madam Bridget's face changed. Her mouth opened. She began to sweat. Wait, it's not what it looks like." But it was too late. The truth was out, and the entire compound was watching. The air in the compound was tense. All eyes were on Madam Bridget. She stammered. "This is a setup. That video was edited. I don't know anything." But nobody believed her anymore. Even her closest friend in the compound, Mama Dami, folded her arms and shook her head. "So you've been pretending all this while? Reporting Ifeoma when you were the real thief?" Mr. Ade stepped forward. "Bridget, the audio is your voice. The messages came from your number, and your face is in all the pictures. Stop lying." Madam Bridget turned to run inside, but 2 men from the neighbourhood blocked her door. "You're not going anywhere," one said. Just then the police returned. But this time, they didn't come for Mama Ifeoma. Mr. Ade handed them the flash drive. The officers connected it to their laptop. After a few minutes, they looked up. "This is enough evidence for an arrest," one of them said. Madam Bridget fell to her knees. "Please. I was only trying to help my brother's friend sell animals. I didn't know it would go this far." "You didn't know?" Mama Ifeoma shouted, stepping forward. "You sent police to my house. You tried to destroy me." The officers handcuffed Madam Bridget and led her away. Neighbours murmured as she passed. Shame covered her like a wrapper. Mama Ifeoma stood tall. Her name was cleared, her honour restored. Later that evening, neighbours came to her house with gifts and apologies. "You're stronger than we thought," Mr. Ade said. "You didn't fight her with noise. You used the truth." Mama Ifeoma smiled. "The truth is louder than shouting." That night, as she closed her door, she looked at the fence one last time. It no longer felt like a wall between enemies. It felt like a lesson. Sometimes the people who fight you the most are the ones hiding the darkest secrets, and sometimes silence is the sharpest weapon. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more amazing content. Thanks, and stay blessed.